everyone, it's Candace Craw-Goldman from quantumhealers.com. If expanding consciousness, trusting your inner knowing, and exploring the incredible power of the human soul lights you up, well, welcome. And if you're new here, hello, and hello again. This is a guru-free zone, and we're always open to learning and expansion. Today begins a special series on the 5 freedom principles of beyond quantum healing. And we're starting, of course, with the very first one. And here it is. You will be free to modify the scripts and the procedures to accommodate your desires and your client's needs. This is foundational and quite intentional. And if you've trained in traditional or more rigid modalities, this may feel at first, well, a bit rebellious. Well, good. Let's talk about why that matters. In many hypnosis and regression traditions, the script is treated like sacred law, a carved-in stone protocol. Maybe even a door that only opens if you say the magic words in the correct order, rhythm, and tone. But here's the truth. No script is more powerful than intuition, genuine presence, and curiosity. A script is a guide. It's a starting point, not a ceiling. That's why in BQH we say, trust the training, but trust your senses, your divine guidance even more. Sometimes a client needs silence. Sometimes they need 5 extra breaths before you move on. Sometimes they need a change in the order of the way you do things. Sometimes they don't see, but they feel or hear or simply know, and they don't respond to the exact phrasings of the script. Maybe you have to follow them rather than insist they follow somebody else's idea of how a session should present. You see, if you're too rigid, you can really miss fantastic opportunities that may be right in front of you. But if you are focused upon following the perfect script or protocol, you may not see the wide open doorway that's right in front of you and your client. Beyond quantum healing is a living conversation with the subconscious or the higher self and the divine infinite field of consciousness. And conversations this deep and connected need room to breathe. And you could think about this as being listening beyond technique. But some of you may be asking, Candace, what if I mess up? Well, let me say something very lovingly and with decades now of experience. You will mess up, or rather, you may sometimes think you have. You will have sessions where you think, I should have paused longer. I jumped in too soon. I should have listened more. I didn't follow my intuition. Or even, I forgot that phrase in the script. Well, every practitioner worth their salt has those moments. I have. And even Dolores Cannon has, I promise you. But with BQH, you're not asked to memorize a script and not deviate. You're here to be awake and attentive and connected to your own divine guidance, to be of service to another human. Now, technique you can practice. But being open, aware, and present, well, that's trusting in something bigger than yourself. And that is a choice. Every time, it's a choice. And one way to look at this is to realize that your client doesn't always need a flawless hypnotherapist, robot type person. They need a human who is deeply present, unhurried, and willing to listen to their own wisdom team for guidance. It's the way it works. This freedom principle gives you permission and let's restate it. You will be free to modify the scripts and procedures to accommodate your desires and your client's needs. This means if your client needs more grounding, more time, you ground more, you take more time. If they need extra relaxation, maybe body relaxation, we'll help them do that. If they respond beautifully to imagery, expand the imagery, give them even more. If they have a desire to connect with their guides, we'll call them in at any time during the procedure. If you feel guided to take a spontaneous, intuitive pause or another pathway off of where you just were, we'll honor that. If you sense a need to add phrases or introduce even a concept from another source or program that has touched you and been powerful, we'll use it. If another modality wants to flow in, well, we'll talk about that a little more at Principle 4, but let that flow in. A script, a procedure, these are tools. And in my mind, these things should be infinitely flexible because we are not all the same. In BQH, we don't train you to memorize words and steps. We train you to trust yourself and trust your connection. And here's a final thought I'd like to leave you with. When you modify a script or do something a little different off the procedure to meet a client's needs, what you're actually saying is, I see you, I trust you, and I trust myself to connect with that reality of what's really there and bring my best effort to you without any sort of restriction. And that recognition alone is healing. Because it is the embodiment of the phrase, remembering who you are. Healing begins the moment you and your client feel completely supported, trusted, and free to be yourself. And everything else is just facilitation. If this resonates with you, if you're nodding along or your heart is saying, yes, this is how healing should feel, then you're already lined with BQH. At quantumhealers.com, we don't teach you to be a perfect robot or to memorize anything. I'm terrible at memorization. It's true. There may be a place for robots, but BQH is not that place. We teach you to be yourself, skillfully and confidently in service to your clients. And from my experience, that's kind of rare in this world of alternative healing, and it's precious. Okay, thanks for being here. Thanks for choosing intuition over imitation. And thanks for considering walking this path of service to others and having a great big heart. All right, until next time, thanks so much and see you in the next video.